Hey y'all, we back again for the third week in September. And we are out of the Jesus, Our Perfect Hope, Charles Stanley. And we're just gonna open up to something. And if it's something that we already did, we'll just keep doing this again. And here we are. And it says, this is the first thing I laid my eyes on, which says, why wait? I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. Psalm 40 and 1. Um, in our on demand age, the prospect of waiting for God to answer us may seem almost irrational. Why delay meeting our needs when we have options right in front of us? Yet the benefits of waiting, let me elaborate on this. In our on demand age, the prospect of waiting for God to answer us may seem almost irrational. Why delay meeting our needs when we have options right in front of us? All right, y'all. I have seen people say, and this is no lie, on YouTube, you know what? I used to lay before the Lord and I used to seek his face so that he could give me a word on what my sermon would be. Okay? When I used to be in the ministry, I had to do the same thing. Go before the Lord and find out, what is it that I need to speak about? What does the people need to hear? And we would wait. And you didn't get an answer right then and there, but you got it just in enough time to deliver that sermon, right? That takes, hold on, y'all, that's the cat. Hold on. All right, y'all, I'm back. So, where we left off at. So, yeah, you had to lay before the Lord and you would have to spend time with him so that he could speak to you and put something into your heart, put a word in your heart. You know what I mean? And it took time. You didn't get an answer right away, but when you got it on time. But that takes work, it takes effort, and it takes patience. And I don't care how much you love the Lord, y'all, patience is something that a lot of people struggle with regardless of how close their walk is with the Lord. It's a human thing. You know, that's why it's so precious. That's why it's a virtue. That's why it's part of the fruit of the Spirit, because patience, it shows endurance, selflessness. But nowadays, why wait on the Lord? Why delay when we can use the options that are right in front of us? There was a pastor who said, "Oh, I used to lay before the Lord, seeking God for a message for my congregation. But now I use AI. I use AI, and AI will prepare a sermon for me. So I don't no longer have to spend so much time with the Lord waiting on him, waiting on him. I can go and spend time with my family. I can go do what I want to do because AI has already created my sermon. Studying to show that self-approved, all that stuff can be gone just like that. Throw it out the window because we can rely on AI to do it all for us. And that's when the tools, that's when the options become out of bounds. They're not in their proper place. All right, so let's go on. Let's just see what else this says. Yet the benefits upon waiting upon God far outweigh those of forging ahead apart from his involvement. Why? Because he knows the future and we don't. Our decisions are usually based on an incomplete assessment of our existing circumstances. Amen. I can't tell y'all how many times I have felt like this is right. I can fix this. This is what's going to work. I can see what's going on. And then lo and behold, it was far from what I thought it was. And then I stood corrected. You know, it's just so much more than what we see in front of us. We look through the glass darkly. We cannot see what is still to come or what is outside of our influence, but God can. And He, what does that say? And He knows how our choices today impact tomorrow. Y'all, I've made choices that I thought were so right for that moment. And then I come to find out years later that that was something that it was not the best decision that I made and someone else got hurt from it. Oh my Lord. I can remember those times when I was just like, I'm living for the moment, you know? Likewise, the Lord has a plan for your life and He purposes for you. Oh, and His purposes for you far exceed anything that you can come up with yourself. For example, rushing headlong into marriage or a business venture that may fit your plan but not His, and it may also be disastrous. But when you wait on Him, you're demonstrating that you want to do things in His way, His will above your own. So, yes, waiting on God is tough. Y'all, there are things that I have waited on the Lord for that He took years, years. And I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Lord, what is it that you need me to do? What do you want from me? So that I can do what I need to do to get what I want, to please you, to rush things along, to learn this lesson so that I don't have to wait. I mean, a ton of answers, a plethora of explanations, reasons, you know, and I just had to continue to wait. For whatever those reasons were at that time, I had to wait. And then my waiting turned into not waiting for the thing, but just waiting for Him. And that's when it's like, bam, things begin to change because you're just not waiting on Him. I mean, you're not just waiting on the thing, but you're waiting on Him. And it's a big difference. Waiting on the Lord, even for a sermon, waiting on the Lord to make a decision. I've seen people, and including myself, there have been times, none recently, but I'm just saying, when I give you these examples, they're things that are from my entire lifetime, you know, where I waited on the Lord and I didn't get the answer in a timely fashion. So I had to just think, meditate, think, meditate, think, and meditate, and till something came up. And was it from the Lord? I wouldn't know. You know, I can't remember now in detail, but it's like, I don't know if this is the Lord. I don't know. I just know that this is what I'm feeling and this is what I'm going to do. I'm, too young in the Lord to even realize, how half of that works, because we had a pastor that said, you can pray for anything you want and you can get it just like that. All you got to do is believe and receive, and I would just be believing God for crazy stuff that because it was never incorporated according to His will and purpose for your life. And so it's like, nobody said I had to wait, you just believe and receive. So I believed, okay, it's 10 minutes later, it's an hour later, it's a day later. When do I get to receive? What's going on here? Um, let's see. And it was disastrous for me. It was really rough. But it was a blessing all along, But when you wait on Him, you're demonstrating that you want to be in His will above your own. And yes, waiting on God is tough, but that is precisely how your faith is strengthened and your inner character is molded into Christ's image. So regardless of how pressing your need may be today, remember that waiting on God is always worth wait. Oh my God, it is well worth it. He is so worth waiting for. Oh my gosh, because when he comes through like a flood, and it is powerful, and it is beautiful, and it is majestic, and he gets all the glory and all the glory. Yes, I will wait. And you, yes, ask Jesus, show me how to wait. My hope is in Jesus and Jesus alone. And yeah, oh, that was beautifully, beautifully put together. Why wait? That's powerful. So if there's something that's in your life today and you've been praying and praying about it and it ain't came into fruition yet, just know that Jesus is moving mountains to make this thing work out for you. And it don't always happen overnight, especially if there's other people involved. We just got to trust him and trust in his truth. Trust in the truth. And I hope that you guys are blessed from this. I really and truly do. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. To me, it looks like it's kind of blurry, like we got a focus problem. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we've got some issues going on here. So I'm going to charge up my phone, and I will see you, God willing, in the next video. Bye for now.